Rugby Championship week number 1, folks. Top 5 players of the round. We'll pick 5 guys, no particular order, who stood out for their teams at the weekend. Some of their kind of key moments, stats, or just other thoughts. And you guys can let us know your thoughts. If you were going to narrow it down to the top 5, who would you have from the 2 games? And also, I wrote up a piece for Planet Rugby for this one, so feel free to check that one down in the description as well. There's always something I mention there, which I forget to mention here, but check out Planet Rugby. First guy I'm going to pick is from the Springboks, and it's one of their loose forwards, an old Marco van Staden. Now, he had to step in for Stio Kolisi, which is not easy, because that guy's got a pretty big reputation, and he's just got a pretty big game about him, as old Sia. So Marco comes into the side. We all know what he can do on defence. He's a real jackler, turnover merchant. But interestingly, with South Africa kind of having as much ball as they did, I feel like he stepped up his game just kind of ball in hand with a bit of extra physicality as well, which was really pleasing to see, because that's something Kolisi, when he's playing on the open side, brings to the game naturally. That's kind of one of his natural skills, his ability to carry and also to clean out. But Van Staden, man, I mean, just look at his numbers. 43 metres, 5 defenders beaten. I think 5 defenders beaten was the most anybody had this week. Several guys got it. Van Staden got it. Hazen got it. I think Corin Betty got 5 as well. But yeah, if you'd asked me who were the top 3 guys who were going to bust tackles this week, I wouldn't have picked Marco van Staden, but man, did that really well. Made 5 from 5 tackles, which was kind of not that high on the old tackle count, but as I said, South Africa had so much ball. These guys weren't called upon to do as much kind of defensive work. But yeah, when he joined that maul with Peter Steff, they got their team over for a penalty try. He peels off that other maul, which then sets up Mbonambi, who sets up Arendse. Like, guy was just everywhere, which is really pleasing to see. Bunch of carries, breaks tackles, gets meters, and is just a key man in the Springboks go-forward play. So, yeah, man, really, really pleasing for him. It's one of the kind of benefits of guys like Pollard and Kolisi, these World Cup winners, being out. I know we're kind of, we're getting close to Rugby World Cup times. Obviously, you want everyone fit, but still, it's certainly another game in the bank for Van Staden in terms of his experience. So well done to him. Next one I'm going to go with is an All Blacks guy, an old Jordy Barrett. Man of the match, Jordy Barrett in the midfield for the All Blacks. Now, Jordy's only kind of come into the midfield for the All Blacks in relatively recent times. He's talked up his desire to play 12 for a long time, back when he was, pretty much exclusively a fullback. And I don't know, man, he's starting to get his grip on that number 12 jersey more and more. Obviously, he played Super Rugby as a 12. And in this game, picking up man of the match is certainly another good step forward to becoming Ian Foster's preferred guy in the number 12 jumper. I mean, he's a big guy. He's like 6'4" or 6'5". He's a big dude. So he already brings that kind of physical presence. I wouldn't say he's got like top end speed, but he's pretty quick. He had 12 carries in that game, managed 72 meters and had a try, but also defensively. How many tackles did he have? It was a bunch of them. It was like 13. 13 from 15 tackles. So he misses 2, but 13. Grabs a couple of turnovers as well. New Zealand's top tackler in that game. So, man, that's certainly putting your hand up. And plus, he can distribute. The wraparound move, which sends brother Bodie over. He links up with D-Mac. That kind of link-up play you want him to be making if he's going to play 12. He's not really a crash ball 12. He can use that physical presence. But if you're going to have Jordy there, you want him to be able to kick and pass, to bring his other skills into the game. I think he did it. So there you go. Jordy Barrett in one of your top 5. And then I've gone with another 12. And another guy who, with all this talk of the Box B team, with Dale Linde being over here in NZ, a little bit of the spotlight on guys like Andre Esterhuizen, a guy who's, at club level proved he's a real handful, but sometimes at test level maybe just seemed to be not quite there. Well, not this time. And it probably helps that the Boks had that much bloody ball. Like, if you're going to give guys like Andre Esterhuizen a chance to carry 17 times, then you're going to get yourselves into some trouble from a Wallabies point of view. I mean, goodness gracious me. I already mentioned the guys who beat 5 defenders, the top guys from this week, Corambetti, Van Staden, Esterhuizen is one of these guys. And as I said, 17 carries, he probably could have got more. But if you're going to give this guy a chance to carry 17 times, he is going to break tackles. He has a clean break as well. And, set up some play, which is also pleasing because, like, not just Esterhuizen, but Dale Ender as well sometimes gets a little bit criticised for just being that kind of freight train on attack and not bringing the other guys into the game. He passed 7 times, including setting up Aronce's try on the left wing. I think the first one they got. So, yeah, Esterhuizen, really, really pleasing. 56 metres and, a bunch of carries. So, if the Springboks are going to get the ball, they're going to bring a guy like that into the game. So, other teams, man, you need to beware. Another All Black and another Barrett this time. I'm going with old Scotty Barrett. He had a pretty good game. I mean, from an All Blacks point of view, you're used to seeing both Whitelock and Retallick, or at least one of them, right? This week we got no Whitelock in the side, no Retallick in the side. Barrett comes into this one as the senior All Blacks lock alongside a kind of relatively unexperienced and long time out of the All Blacks, Josh Lord. And Barrett just stepped up, man. Like, he's been in really good form in Super Rugby. I'm on the record as saying I prefer him as a lock compared to a 6. And I think, again, you saw him doing his best locking job at the weekend against Argentina. He almost got a try, which would have been nice for him to score, but not quite. But he still, didn't get his team into trouble by, like, forcing, like, a hand out and then losing control of it. Quick recycle ball. Savia, next phase over, is able to go for a try. Earlier on, he's the one who offloaded to Dane Coles for the first try, so he gets a try assist. He makes 9 from 9 tackles, which I think was the second of any lock this week. He secured lineout. I think he won 3 lineouts. Stole one of the Pumas lineouts. So he tackles, carries, he passes. In the air, man. What else do you want? Scotty Barrett. He did concede a few penalties, is the one thing I will say if you were going to be critical of Scotty Barrett's performance. But involvements, man, were just really, really high. So good from him. And lucky last, there's no prizes for guessing who my last name on the board is. Like I said, these are not in order, but any guy who gets a hat-trick usually goes to the top of the pile. Kurtley Arendse. His try-scoring run for the Boks is genuinely crazy. I think it's 7 games in a row, and some of those games are multi-try games. So he gets 3 in this one. He certainly got at least 1 double in a previous game as well. But he's just got a knack for scoring tries. Like, what a finisher. And he's on the plane to New Zealand as well. So if he gets picked, who do you pick up against him? Because he goes into that game up against Suliasi Vunivalu, who's inexperienced for sure, but he's a bit bigger than Kurtley Arendse. Arendse is not the biggest guy. So there was a bit of talk about, is Vunivalu going to be able to physically dominate Arendse? Well, I think there was a skill difference between the guys. I mean, as I said, Vunivalu at test level is really inexperienced, and man, did he get exposed. Arendse was just on fire. That footwork of his is amazing. I mean, highlighted by, I think, that second try, where I think it's like, is it Michael Hooper coming across, and then both Corambetti and Vunivalu are all just trying desperately to stop him from taking those last couple of steps over the line. And just, he looks too easy to go over the line. It's unbelievable. Some of these guys just have a knack for finishing. And Arendse has got that knack, man. He ends up with 4 clean breaks. He beats 3 tackles. He gets a bunch of run meters. I mean, yeah. He's just an absolute danger, man. If he gets picked to play the All Blacks, who do you play against them? We've got Narawa, who made his debut against Argentina and is renowned for having really good defense for wingers. But do you put him in his second game up against an Arendse? I guess if you're good enough, the amount of caps you've got doesn't really matter. But yeah, he will be in the All Blacks prep work this week. You'd have to imagine, man. They're going to be looking at highlight reels of this guy or, video analysis because he just keeps scoring tries. So, yeah, there you go. 5 guys from the week. There were certainly other guys who would have been worthy of your shout, but I don't want to sit here all day and make it a list of 15 or 20 guys. We'll keep it to 5. You guys let us know your thoughts on who you might have in the list. As I said, Planet Rugby article down in the description below. There's other articles there on Planet Rugby, which are certainly worthy of a read as well. But, yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.